Hello, everyone. So today, as Ritika also said, that it's a topic why we needed this topic, role of nutrition in health. This is something which it is actually a very, very vast topic, and the time is so limiting that it's difficult to cover all of it entirely here. But I have picked up some basic points so that we can deal with this as we go out in the world, as we start our practice, as we look into counseling sessions. If any of you have attended my sessions before, I have always said that, the knowledge gained from the book is not enough when we go out and deal with in practical ways. So when we are actually dealing with clients, it's very difficult to stick to the bookish knowledge. We need a lot of experience, and actually we gain a lot of learning with every client that we deal. So it is, in short, like I have gathered a lot of my experiences and I've tried to put in here for you so that you can learn from that as well, along with the knowledge that you get from our books and things. Now, when we say that nutrition plays a key role in health, let us at least understand first that what is health? How do we define health? Health, when we say what is health, it is, not just the absence of diseases. It is also the presence of enthusiasm and aspiration. It is the ability to learn happily at all stages of life. So the path of health is like, it is a lot of happiness and fulfillment when we get that. So health cannot be just described physically. It kind of has to contain all the aspects, all the human aspects, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, intellectual. All of it comes under when we talk about health. Health, the word for it in Hindi is swasthya, which can be broken down into two parts, swa and sthya, which simply means keeping oneself balanced, keeping one into a good balance, and that means that our five senses should be aligned. The senses should not be scattered in all directions. Even Gandhiji had once said that there should be a confluence of thought, speech, and action. This stability, this balance is brought in when we have a calm mind. A calm mind would be a balanced mind, and that kind of a person would be taking rational decisions and not jumping to conclusions. But when is our mind not calm? When we are hungry. The mind is not calm when we are hungry because it's hunger and anger together, which is making us hangry. So you must be surprised that how come hunger is making us, affecting our mind or the calmness of the mind. Well, how many of us have experienced the butterflies in the stomach, the mood swings, and the strong gut feeling, which has at times made us take quite a lot of decisions? So how is it that we get butterflies in the stomach when actually the mind is stressed and fearful? Have you not experienced that when we are suddenly called up on the stage and asked to speak a few words, we all immediately get those butterflies in the stomach? And how many of us have experienced a hangover, a bad mood the next day when we have eaten some kind of junk food or done, excess of some junk the previous night? Again, we also experience a strong gut feeling, which makes us alter our decisions and in fact has made a lot of us take life-turning decisions. So where are all these emotions coming in the gut? Well, the mind and the gut are very strongly connected, and this connection is so strong that there is a lot of communication between the two. There is a smaller enteric nervous system in the gut and the central nervous system in the brain, and these two are connected by the vagus nerve. And the communication is so strong that the gut has a very strong influence on the brain. In fact, the gut microbiome or the gut flora can alter our thoughts, can put us into low moods, can make us into a very happy, mood, or even give us positive vibes. And then again, disorders or lifestyle issues like anxiety, depression, low energy levels are experienced when our gut flora is not good. So we can say that the food we eat is manifested mentally in our thoughts, or the food we eat literally makes our thoughts. So it is very strongly associated. That is where food plays a very big role when it comes to mental health. But apart from this, our food also plays a big role when it comes to our immune system, the first line of defense of the body. It can boost the immune system. It can cripple the immune system depending on the type of food that you're taking. If your food habits are good, your immune system is strong, and you are not the one who's regularly down with any kind of infections or chronic or acute diseases. Do not set in fast. Food also plays a major role in our growth, in our development, be it a growing child who has to grow tall, who has to grow in its limbs, in all body organs, or be adult who has to get the repairing, the rejuvenation, the development which continues throughout life, or be it our hair and skin. Everything, the raw material is provided by food. When the food is giving adequate raw material, we see great growth, repair, detoxification, rejuvenation, development. It is all reflected on our hair and skin also. And then again, food is giving us loads of energy to do all our work through the day. For all our physical abilities, we need the energy. So food is the fuel. And whether we're going to get up in the morning fresh and we would be in the mood to exercise also comes from the food that we're eating. If we have not eaten the kind of food which is going to put in thoughts, good thoughts of exercising in the morning, or which is not going to give us the energy to get up and hit the gym or do whatever we want to as an activity, then how much willpower we can try, but we would not get that energy to exercise. So as you can see that food touches all the 5 aspects that we were talking about and shapes them. It is all shaped by food which we are putting in our mouth. So we can easily say that we are what we eat. It is said, Annamaya Kosha, that is, that our outer sheath is completely made by what we are eating. It is a complete reflection of the food that we are putting inside us. Now, when we have these days, what are we seeing generally? That there is a rise in diseases and disorders, even though there is a rise in the best kind of medications, in the best kind of medical help, yet there is so much of lifestyle disorders that we see all around us, be it diabetes, be it thyroid, PCOD, arthritis, be it any kind of mental disorders like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, or skin disorders like eczema. We see it all around us, and it is generally blamed on the lifestyle which has a lot of stress, which is becoming a sedentary lifestyle. Most of us are sitting, and we all have a sedentary lifestyle, less activity. But if we look deep down, where is all this leading to? All this kind of a lifestyle is actually leading to a poor digestion. And when we have a poor digestion, then of course, we don't get proper assimilation, and there is no proper absorption. And so we are deficient. we have micronutrient deficiencies, we have other deficiencies, which is causing an inflammation. In Ayurveda, it is clearly said that inflammation comes from imbalance, which is caused by indigestion. So it is all rooted in the gut. Now, whenever we have indigestion, there is a production of toxins, which is known as ama, and these toxins accumulate in a certain part or maybe affect a certain organ. And that's the disease that is manifested. If it is affecting the joints, we call it arthritis. If it is affecting the pancreas, it may be diabetes. If it is affecting our brain, it could be some kind of mental disorder. So whatever the disease be, it is due to inflammation, which is coming from indigestion. So we can see that how nutrition plays a very, very important role. What kind of food goes in, how well it is digested, how it is bioavailable. In fact, the lack of food is creating all these problems. The lack of food is giving us more problems. And as we are switching to more processed, more refined food, we see that there is a surge in these lifestyle disorders. So food, we can say, is that kind of energy which is actually either healing us, healing each and every cell, or it is kindling diseases. So depending on the type of food that we are taking, we can say that it can create problems or it can give us good physical health. So food is the type of food that we eat is generally in our ancient texts has been divided into three kinds. That is Rajasic, Tamasic, and Sattvic. And the kind of food that we are eating would create the mood swings, the anger, or the frustration, or would give us focus, concentration, and better physical abilities. So it depends on what kind of food we are eating. If you've noticed that too much of sugary food would make a child also cranky, frustrated, and very hyperactive. These days, I get a lot of cases of hyperactive kids, which we know as ADHD in the medical terms. And this is happening because of too much sugar, too much refined food, and the processed food that is available all around us and is being, provided to the child or is being consumed in the family. So every person, child or adult, is being affected by the kind of food that we are consuming. And this food, as the father of medicine said, that food is thy medicine. So it totally depends on us whether we use the anna to heal ourselves or to make ourselves sick. So anna is ananda and arogyam. Anna can give us happiness and keep us free from illnesses. But again, if we are taking the wrong kind of choices, then we can fall into trouble. So as we understand the role of nutrition, as we understand that how deeply it affects us, how it is actually at the base of all disorders, all diseases, literally the root cause of everything, we definitely need to look into what is the right kind of nutrition.